Hello, my name is Broken Elevator, and today I'll be reviewing a mod that not many big YouTubers visit. It's called Pam's HarvestCraft 2. It adds a lot of foodstuffs into the game. And as you can see by these chests, there's a lot to cover. So let's get into it. Here we have ingredients. These items are crafted with vanilla items and are used to make all the other food items in the mod. First, we have cocoa powder and a chocolate bar. Both are made by putting cocoa beans in either a grinder or saucepan. Next, we have fresh milk and fresh water. Both of these are crafted by putting a bucket of the substance, a single bucket, into a crafting table. Next, we have cream, vinegar, and cooking oil. These are made by putting a mixing bowl in either milk for cream, an apple for vinegar. No, wait. They're made by putting a mixing bowl in milk for cream, a pot and an apple for vinegar, and a juicer and vegetables, any vegetable, for cooking oil. There is salt, which is made with a pot and water, fresh or bucket. There's flour, which is made by putting wheat or potato with a grinder. There's cheese, which is made by putting salt, milk, and a pot together in a crafting table. There's butter, which is made by putting a pot and milk in a crafting table. And there's stock, which is made by putting a pot and any type of meat in a crafting table. Or you could put an apple. I don't know why you can do an apple, but you can. In this chest, we have cookware. There is a bakeware, which is used in crafting recipes for most baked goods, and it takes 8 bricks in this pattern. There's a cutting board, which is used for vegetable dishes that will require chopping. Takes any type of wood, a stick, and a brick in this fashion. There's a juicer, which is made with 4 bricks in this fashion. It is made for, well, juicing things. Oh, oops. There's the grinder, which is crafted with 3 bricks and a stick. There's the mixing bowl, which is crafted with any type of wood plank and a stick. There's the pot, which is crafted with a stick and 4 bricks. There's a roller, which is crafted with any type of oak log. Not oak log, just any type of log and 2 sticks. There's a saucepan, which is crafted with a stick and a brick. And a skillet, which is crafted with 2 sticks and a brick. Next, we have items that are bread-based and require dough as its main ingredient. Dough is made with water, salt, and flour. That's one of those original ingredients that we covered. And you can make toast by putting bread and butter in a skillet. You can make pumpkin bread by putting dough, bread, and pumpkin in bakeware. You can make carrot bread by putting dough, bread, and a carrot in bakeware. And you can also make a grilled cheese with bread, butter, and cheese in a skillet. Alright. I'm sure our Italian viewers will be disappointed at the tiny amount of pasta added with the mod and the fact that there's no Italian pasta dishes. Well, these 2 dishes, mac and cheese and noodle soup, are made with pasta, which is made with a cutting board and dough. Mac and cheese requires a pot, pasta, and cheese. And noodle soup requires pasta, stock, and a pot. There's also a small amount of pies, but these 2 will have to do. There's the apple pie, which requires bakeware, sugar, an apple, and dough. And there's the sweet berry pie, which requires bakeware, not baked bear, sugar, sweet berries, and dough. If I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video at any time to look at one of the recipes. There are a small amount of cupcakes added with the mod. Chocolate cupcake requires dough, bakeware, and cocoa powder. The carrot cupcake requires sugar, dough, a carrot, and bakeware. The pumpkin cupcake requires dough, a pumpkin, and bakeware. The caramel cupcake requires caramel, dough, and bakeware. Did I cover caramel in special ingredients? No, I didn't. I completely forgot about caramel. Anyway, caramel is made with milk, a saucepan, and sugar. Here. There are a small variety of cakes, but sadly, cakes in this mod are eaten like any other food. They're not placed. There are a variety of muffins, but my favorite blueberry, sadly, isn't in this mod. There's the chocolate muffin, which requires bakeware, sugar, cocoa powder, and batter, which make batter with a bowl, flour, milk, and an egg. There's the carrot muffin, which requires a carrot, batter, and bakeware. There's the pumpkin muffin, which requires a pumpkin, batter, sugar, and bakeware. And the caramel muffin, which requires dough, bakeware, and caramel. We have 3 donuts and little variety. We have the donut, which requires cooking oil, batter, and a pot. I'm assuming this is a plain donut, so that's essentially just a soft bagel. There's a chocolate donut, which is a pot, cooking oil, batter, and cocoa powder. Then there's the jelly donut, which requires any type of the jellies added with the mod, cooking oil, batter, and a pot. A nice variety of yogurt is added with the mod. The base yogurt is a saucepan and milk. There's chocolate yogurt, which requires a cutting board, cocoa powder, and yogurt. There's apple yogurt, which requires an apple and a cutting board, plus yogurt. There's sweet berry yogurt, which requires a cutting board and sweet berries and yogurt. There's a pumpkin yogurt, which requires yogurt, a cutting board, and pumpkin. And then a caramel yogurt, which requires yogurt, a cutting board, and you guessed it, caramel. You have some ice cream, but sadly no mint chocolate chip. But to make ice cream, you require any type of ice with any type of milk, sugar, and a mixing bowl. Chocolate ice cream requires ice cream, a mixing bowl, and cocoa powder. And caramel ice cream requires ice cream, a mixing bowl, and caramel. We have a couple of unique chocolate items, like hot chocolate, which requires saucepan, cocoa powder, milk, and marshmallows, which we'll get to in a second. Chocolate bacon, which is a saucepan, a chocolate bar, and a pork chop. A chocolate roll, which is dough, cream, cocoa powder, and bakeware. And chocolate pudding, which is milk, a saucepan, and cocoa powder. Alright, there's a small amount of egg-based foods, such as mayonnaise, a boiled egg, fried egg, and a scrambled egg. To make mayonnaise, you require a juicer and an egg. To make a boiled egg, you require a pot and an egg. To make a fried egg, you require a skillet and an egg. And it requires scrambled egg. Or to make scrambled egg, you require a skillet, an egg, milk, and salt. There's a lot of fruit and jam-based items. And Let me check something. Since crafting recipes are similar, I'm not going to go through each one, except I'm just going to go through each category. So first we have apple juice, which to make apple juice is a juicer, and either melons or sweet berries for the other two juices, or apples for this one. To make a smoothie, you take a bowl, any type of ice or snowball, and an apple. Same goes for the melon smoothie and sweet berry, just replacing the fruit. There's the apple jelly, which requires a saucepan, sugar, and an apple, or a melon for melon jelly, or sweet berries for sweet berry. There's toast, which requires a cutting board, jelly toast, which requires a cutting board, toast, and a jam of your choice, which go in the jam of your choice to change for melon and sweet berry. There's also two unique drinks that we have over here, which is fruit punch, which is a juicer, and 3 types of fruit, and coarse fruit is available. Interesting. And then there's P8 juice, which requires a juicer and 2 vegetables. Now we get on to the meats. First we have chicken. To make fried chicken, you put a pot, flour, cooking oil, and raw chicken in a crafting table. For ground chicken, it's a grinder and chicken, or raw chicken. For chicken nugget, it's flour, ground chicken, and a pot. For a basic chicken sandwich, it's mayonnaise, bread, ground chicken, and a skillet. For chicken jerky, it's raw chicken, salt, and a cutting board. For chicken pot pie, it's raw chicken, a potato, dough, carrot, and bakeware. And for a chicken dinner, it's fried chicken, a cutting board, mashed potatoes, and a potato or a carrot, or beetroot or pumpkin, any type of vegetable. Then we have beef. There's the pot roast, which requires a pot, beef, a carrot, and a potato. There's ground beef, which requires a grinder and raw beef. There's the basic hamburger, which is made with a skillet, ground beef, mayonnaise, and bread. There's the basic cheeseburger, which requires mayonnaise, ground beef, skillet, bread, and cheese. There's the bacon cheeseburger, which requires bread, a skillet, ground beef, mayo, and raw pork chops. And there's also beef jerky, which requires salt, raw beef, and a cutting board. There's pork, but there's no standalone bacon item. For most bacon items, it uses just pork chops. So there's ground pork, which is made with a grinder and a raw pork chop. There's pork jerky, which is made with a cutting board, salt, and a raw pork chop. There's a hot dog, which is made with ground pork, mayonnaise, bread, and a cutting board. Then there's bacon and eggs, which is made with an egg, raw pork chop, and a skillet. Then we have fish. You make ground fish with a grinder and any type of fish. Fish sticks with bakeware, flour, and ground fish. Basic fish sandwich with mayonnaise, bread, ground fish, and a skillet. Fish jerky with a cutting board, salt, and any type of fish. And fish and chips, which is flour, a pot, any type of fish, and fries, which we'll get to in a moment. Here we have mutton, rabbit, and some miscellaneous meat items. There's ground mutton, which is a grinder and raw mutton. There's mutton jerky, which is cutting board, salt, and raw mutton. There's ground rabbit, which is a grinder and raw rabbit. And rabbit jerky, which is raw rabbit, salt, and a cutting board. Next we have meatloaf, which is any type of ground meat, bread, and bakeware. Then we have the stew, which is any type of meat with any type of vegetable and flour and a pot. Here we have some potato-based items, such as the buttered baked potato, mashed potatoes, fries, potato chips, and potato soup. The buttered baked potato requires butter, salt, a baked potato, and a cutting board. Mashed potatoes requires a baked potato, salt, butter, and a mixing bowl. Fries require cooking oil, salt, a potato, or a pot, and a pot. Potato chips require potato, salt, cooking oil, and bakeware. And potato soup requires a pot, stock, and potato. Here's some vegan dishes made with vegetables for the people that don't like to eat meat even in video games. There are glazed carrots, which require a pot, or a saucepan, a carrot, butter, and sugar. There's carrot soup, which requires stock, a pot, and carrots. There's pickled beet, which requires vinegar, beetroot, and pot. There's pumpkin soup, which requires stock, a pumpkin, and a pot. And there's the baked vegetable melody, which requires any 2 vegetables with a bakeware. And last but not least, sweets. We have the caramel apple, which requires a saucepan, an apple, and caramel. Surprisingly, there's no stick involved, even though there's clearly a stick in there. There's marshmallow chicks, which requires any type of dye with sugar and a saucepan. There's marshmallows, which requires sugar and a saucepan. There's cotton candy, which requires a pot and sugar. There's fruit salad, which requires any type of fruit with a cutting board. And then there's a fruit crumble, which requires dough, 2 types of fruit, and bakeware. Alright guys, that was Pam's HarvestCraft 2. I know this mod is very large, and going over the crafting recipes might have been a bit boring, but I would give this mod out of 5, probably a 3, because yes, it adds a lot of food to the game, but there's no real use for all this food. Like, in addition of more food to the game just kind of makes it a bit more complicated. And instead of getting ingredients and crafting one of these to make fish jerky and eat that, I could just eat a cooked fish. So, not my favorite mod, but yeah. Well, this would be concluding our first mod review ever on the channel. I hope you enjoy, and I hope I remember for many more of these mod reviews to come. Bye.